Hello, it's the top of the hour. Here I am. So I guess I'll go ahead and get the demo started. Just to outline some of the differences, we're now working off of in the demo scorecard, working off the GA scorecard for now, and the demo prep has changed a little bit. So for this demo, we didn't. Different than previous demos where we did a lot of testing of external pets. We're just using in-cluster databases and Redis and GitLab, at least for today for this demo. We'll see, we may want to change that later when we get to the recovery from failure part, as those pieces right now there's only one of, and so we're not necessarily expecting them to work when we like to stay up when we kill one of the nodes if they happen to be on that node. So other than that, we also, the instance I already have installed is actually our released, our current released package. So it's running GitLab 11.0.3 and not master. And then what I'm going to do now is install master on it. Other than that, basically, I've just, the only other thing I've really configured other than default is I have configured email to go through Mailgun at the moment. And I've added my user that has an email that Mailgun will allow to go through. And that's about it in terms of what was already set up. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's upgrade to the latest version and see if it keeps working. So we'll switch to running off of master. And I'll just use the same settings. So at the moment, during the upgrade, oh, actually it is already up. That might have been a bad example. Oh, no, it did. Cool. I haven't actually taken a look at this yet, but it looks like it's kept one of the old unicorns up.
Yeah, I'm actually simultaneously running through as a user on the
I guess probably thanks to the pod disruption.
Correct. The PDBs are keeping the extra one around while it does the rolling update.
I actually think that's probably just from the deployment configuration, but yeah.
It's true.
The deployment, I think, should have like min available 1 or maybe max unavailable 1 as well, in addition to the PDB. I want to think about doing surging instead too, since we have HPA and everything. Presumably, the number of replicas.
That's actually kind of cool. That for the most part, it appears to be staying up during the upgrade. We haven't done any like pre-deployment versus post-deployment migration handling yet, anything like that. There's stuff that probably doesn't work. But the fact that it stays up is pretty cool. Looks like Gitly went down for the upgrade, so I don't expect I'll be able to load a repo.
That's expected, right? Because we only have one Gitly thing. We can't scale that.
Correct. Because every Gitly is actually a stateful service, so one Gitly instance, one disk right now. Can you? Oh no, we are in that individual pod. Never mind. Check the logs. Can you check the logs on the pod? Oh, it claims it's up now.
Yeah, so now we're back up.
So as somewhat expected, the serial pull by GKE does slow the whole thing down just a touch when you're running off of master.
It's not listed in the steps right away, but we'll just make sure that Gitly and everything is up and running by creating a project and committing to it. Okay. So the next task is change the default theme and apply the change. And based on the link that was here in the scorecard, it's linking to the GitLab YAML. So Marin must want us to set the default from there. I think this is actually an example of a config item we missed, but I'll just go take a look.
Of course, meanwhile, I'm waiting for
I'm
that
just going to look
page to
right
load.
in the Unicorn config map to see if this setting's even possible. So we have default project features.
Yeah, it's not currently included.
And default storage. But I don't think we got the well, actually, we can't even set the default project features now that I look at it. So it looks like the defaults still need to be done.
Yep.
Maybe he knew that when he put it in there. So the ones looks like we're missing. So the ones we do have is we have like trusted proxies. So this is pulled from GitLab.com for the Rails project. But we do have trusted proxies and time zone and stuff like that in here. So time zone, trusted proxies is below somewhere. I'm sure it's here. Yeah, there it is. Actually, it's above. But we're missing the default theme, just what this one was supposed to be. Looks like we're missing issue closing pattern. We're missing making these ones actually configurable. Oh, there's actually two defaults hidden here. Can create group, username, changing enabled.
And missing webhook timeout and
Yeah, anyways.
repository download paths. A bunch.
So that one's a fail in terms of being able to do that. So we'll move on to the next item, which is killing a VM from the cluster from the GCP page. Actually, if I go to the clusters page, and go into my cluster. This one looks heavily used. We'll kill this one. So here's its VM instance.
For the purpose of information, how many nodes do you have in this cluster?
Oh, we're just going to delete it.
DJ,
See what happens.
how many nodes did you have in the cluster? Was 3. Okay.
So we lost. Well, actually, it looks like we didn't lose the database. So we got lucky. Or Redis. We did lose GitLab, though. So our node is status unknown. So I think the main page is still up. I think it's just it's GitLab being down again. So in the future, once we have multiple GitLab nodes in, the projects that are on the down node will still cause errors like we see here, but you'd still be able to access and work with ones that were on the nodes that were still up.
DJ, can you check the events on Shell?
Excuse me. Certainly not recovering quickly.
Yay, always pull.
Sorry, Jason, I couldn't hear you.
Can you, anybody hear me?
I still can't hear you.
Okay. I said, yay, always pull. Joys of Master. For this purpose, we may want to actually test this with the tagged version that's not set to pull policy always. Can you hear me now?
I can. Has my mic at least been working this whole time?
No, your mic's been working fine. I've been wondering if you can hear me.
No, well, apparently it was, I don't know, something messed up with my audio setting. Okay.
Yeah, so I have thrown in the notes, but we're seeing the serialized problem
Mhm.
with GKE and the way it polls. For those that aren't fully aware, when you tell it to pull the image, it puts them into a FIFO stack and pulls one, and then pulls another, and then pulls another, which is a key reason why we're trying to make the image as small as possible. But this is affected here because image is configured to pull always because of master. So if we're on a release tag where this is state, this should actually happen much faster.
Yeah, unless you're having to bring up a new node, which is kind of the case in here because Gidley had never been on the node it just had to move to.
That would bite us.
But yeah, the other thing is that if you're running your own Kubernetes, like not GKE, but you've installed it yourself, you can throw a flag on that allows the parallel pull, but GKE doesn't allow us to set that flag for parallel pull, at least last time I checked. So yeah, we get one Docker pull at a time. Oh.
It looks functional.
One of my unicorns, I think, is not as happy as the other. It shouldn't be included, actually, because it was listed as unready, so it shouldn't have been in the load balancer. Odd. Well, it's working, which seems to be somewhat slow at the moment. Okay, let's move on to creating another project. Well, I don't know if that's related to us, but I just tested that new initialize with a README feature that I just saw. Apparently that didn't work, so I'm not sure if that doesn't. Oh. Okay, now it's time to check out what's going on.
Okay, note that we're on 404. Deadline exceeded.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
I'd have
Looks
to
like
see
we're
more, but
there's a lot of find default branch name. Oh, I wonder if there's a. Oh no, because the migration's finished.
you show the unicorn log again.
Wasn't that one? Here's the one with the exception.
Okay, it looks like a deadline exceeded it, trying to get over Italy.
Yeah, it's default branch name. Actually, so this project doesn't have a default branch name. It was supposed to, though. It will in a second, if it doesn't break. There, now it has a default branch. Yeah, in case anyone didn't see what I did differently that time. So actually, for the fun of it, I clicked this initialize repository with a README, which clearly didn't work, which may or may not be related. I guess we can create another one and try. It kind of looks equally unhappy with the find default branch name right now. Okay, anyways, project can be created, git push over SSH. Let's try it. I have my other user as SSH, so let's add myself to this repo.
And we are at 30 minutes past the hour.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, we're at time. So we didn't quite get to the later two issues from the recovery from failure, and we can see that we are getting some struggling.
Although I can't say the struggling that we're seeing is actually due to the node deletion.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, anyway, so for anyone who wants to jump off and go to other meetings and stuff like that, go ahead. I'm going to probably take just another extra couple minutes to debug this one here. I think I have an idea of what might be going wrong. So it's on the same unicorn node. It's happening over and over. So one thing we don't do is when I did that upgrade, it ran the migration, like when I upgraded to the master version, it ran the migrations, but this unicorn node was probably already up and running before those migrations were complete. We don't have anything in place to restart them at the moment after the migrations are done. So this is the 98 LG. Pod. So I'm actually going to kill this pod, effectively restarting. While it's down. And this one was started around the same time, so it might have a similar problem. But it looks like maybe the extra 30 seconds it had were enough to make it happier. I guess final thing I can show, because the last thing I did was invite my user, I can actually probably show that the email went through in Mailgun. Or did it? Oh, that's interesting. It's another issue is it looks like the mail did not go through. Oh, actually, I lied. It did go through. For some reason, Mailgun is not showing it. So now that I have an up-to-date unicorn, things are working better. Though this still didn't work. That's probably unrelated. The initialize readme still didn't work. Okay. I think that's it. So I think the main thing is that we didn't have the unicorn workers updating or restarting after the migrations were complete. So they still had cached old database related settings in schema. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you next week.
Not too bad. Unicorn caught me off guard. Nope, can't hear you.
Yeah, I'd actually, this morning, I thought of that probably being a problem, but then it seemed to be working. So I was like, it's working. Apparently one of the unicorns was working, and when it was spinning up more, probably the new ones were working as well, just the one old one.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised it got all the way up to 4. It's like, what? It's like 404, 2 out of 10. I'm like, what state are you actually in?
Yeah, the funny thing is it's probably not even the load from like me using it that was causing it. It's probably simply the load from it like starting up. So like the two that started up, it was like used more than 75, it probably went over just to start up. And so it's like, oh crap, got to start up more. So then it starts up more. Starts up the third one, and then that one's starting up, and they're still all three are over as a result of the CPU usage. So it starts up a fourth one, and then finally by that point, the other ones have started coming up. Which kind of sucks. That means we might need to like give it more CPU for Unicorn, because maybe it's requiring more.
I'll have to look in the HPA and see if there's like a delay that we can set.
I think there is. I think the default one is like 30 seconds. We might have to set more than 30 seconds for well, actually, we will have to set more than 30 seconds, I guess, for Unicorn. We'd have to set more like 3 minutes, I guess. I think there's more than one delay, but there's like a startup delay, I think.
There is a upscale delay and a downscale delay that are different. Downscale is defaulted to 5 minutes. Upscale is 3 minutes.
Oh, see, it was already pretty good then. 3 minutes is about what it should be.
Well, let's see what shows up in the current HPA config. nothing set.
So it should have been
Well, no,
3.
wait. Managing scale group like oh, it's a cluster global setting.